Greetings, math fans. All right, this is day 4 of Chapter 7a, and what we're going to talk about is division now, division of exponents. Okay, so we've talked about, just to kind of review, we've talked about multiplication. And remember, when you multiply, you add exponents. We've talked about raising a power to a power. It's where you multiply exponents. We've talked about zero exponents, where anything to zero power is 1. And we've talked about negative exponents, where you move anything that has a negative exponent to the other side of the fraction. Okay, but now we're going to talk about division. And division is kind of like opposite of multiplication. So when you multiply terms together, like x squared times x to the 5th, you get x to the 7th. Well, when you divide, you subtract. So basically you're subtracting. If I look at this first one, I know it's got a lot of stuff here, but do you agree that if I would cancel 3's out like this, I wind up getting 3 squared? But look at the exponents. 4 minus 2 is 2. So it's basically subtract the top exponent minus the bottom exponent. So it's basically 4 minus 2, so the answer is 3 to the 2nd power, or 9. Okay? So but a better way to show this, and it's less mathematical, but a little more fun. The Civil War was between the North and the South. All right, so basically when we treat numbers with exponents, it's like a battle between the North and the South, because you have on a fraction, you have a north side and a south side. Okay, the north side, like you said, you have a battle. So if I look at, let's look at B here. If 10 has got 7 armies, see the exponent is 7. If it has 7 armies on the top and the south has 4 armies on the bottom, who wins? Well, you would say the north wins by how many? Well, the north has 3 more armies, because it's really 7 minus 4. So the answer to this one is 10 to the 3rd power. Okay? If the south won, then it would be 1 over 10 to the 3rd power, because the south would have another army. Okay? So like this one, t to the 4th over t. Well, I'm just going to put a 1 there because that's really what we need. And who wins? You have a battle between the t's. Doesn't the north win by 3? So that's the answer, t cubed. Okay? So that's kind of what this is saying here. It's t to the r over t to the s. Basically, you're doing r minus s. You're subtracting, but I think it's so much easier to actually do a battle between the two. Okay, so let me explain why it's easier to do a battle as opposed to just even the subtracting. Mathematically, if I did this, I would have the same base, right? The 8 and the 8. So I would say 4 minus 6 is negative 2. So your answer then would be 8 to the negative 2 power, which, remember, with the negative exponents is 1 over 8 squared, or 1 over 64. Now, using the battle, which I'm going to use from now on, is who wins? If you have a battle, you have 4 8s and you have 4 8s on the top and 6 8s on the bottom. Who wins? Well, doesn't the south win by 2? So it wins. The south wins by 2. So 1 over 64. Okay? So let's take a look at number 2. Who wins? The north by 1. So the answer is negative 4 to the 1 power, which is negative 4. Remember, guys, no parentheses in the final answer. Okay? That's important. No parentheses in your final answer. Okay, let's next one. Who's going to win? The top by how many? Well, 16 minus 7 is 9, so 8 to the 9th. That's your answer. Not bad. Not bad. Okay, this one is basically you have a parenthesis. You guys are used to our parentheses already. But if I have like a fraction with that, I can basically, I know this is kind of a lot of stuff here, but 2 to the 7th power is the same thing as saying 2 to the 4th power over, that's a 4, over 7 to the 4th power. Okay, so you can put this in your calculator. Don't put it all together, but 2 to the 4th power, which is 16, and 7 to the 4th power is 2,401. Okay, so just like we did before, when you have an exponent like that, d squared to the 4th power, This is a lot of stuff here. So I'm just going to say this is d squared to the fourth power over f cubed to the fourth power. So that gives you d to the, remember you multiply d to the eighth over f, and 3 times 4 is 12, and that's the answer. Okay, this is, well, it's a lot of extra stuff, but you don't need to do that. Okay, so this next one, same idea, guys. See that squared? Make sure every term gets squared. So it's going to be a squared, it's b cubed squared, on the bottom is c to the fourth squared. Okay, that gives us a squared. It gives us b to the sixth over c to the eighth. Okay, so this letter D here just is saying when you have an exponent on the outside, each of those gets the exponent. Alright, so let's just do, I got a bunch of examples to do with you guys. So this is just saying 5 cubed over 4 cubed. And again, you can put each one of those in your calculator. That's 125. 4 cubed is 64. And that's your answer. Okay, so you have a negative exponent. So this is 3, put parentheses around 3 to the negative 2 over 2 to the negative 2. So this one goes to the other side of the fraction. That one goes to the other side of the fraction. You guys remember that? Okay? So we wind up getting 2 to the positive 2 over 3 to the positive 2. The exponents become positive as well. So my answer is 4. 2 squared is 4 over 9. Okay, so this one is just negative 4 to the third power over 3 to the third power. Put in your calculator, you get negative 64. 3 cubed is 27. Okay, all right. Let's do some practice problems now. Who wins? The north by how many? 4. So it's 2 to the fourth power and 2 to the fourth power is 16. That's your answer. Who wins for this guy? The south by 4. So it's 1 over 2 to the fourth power, which is 1 over 16. Who wins with number 3? The north by 7. X to the 7th. Again, you don't do this. Don't put over 1. It's x to the 7th. Who wins number 4? The bottom by 5. 1 over x to the 5th. Okay. Who wins with this one? This one cancels out. So we just get 1. Now this brings me to a good point, math fans. Remember how I told you yesterday anything to the 0 power is 1? Well, the reason is, think about it. What do I do with those exponents? Don't I subtract them? So 5 minus 5, so x to the 0. And so that's why anything to the 0 power is 1. Alright, because it's the same term over itself, which when you subtract the exponents you get 0, and anything to the 0 power is 1. So this one is 1. Anything to the 0 power is 1. Anything to the 0 power is 1. Anything to the 0 power, they're all in parentheses, that's 1. This moves to the other side of the fraction, so it's x to the third power. That moves to the other side of the fraction, make it into a fraction, so it goes to the bottom, so it's 1 over a to the 5th. Okay, this one, 8 over 4 is 2 over 1. And who wins? The north by how many? 3. So x to the third power. So the answer really is just 2x cubed. Okay. Alright, so again, I'm going to move negative exponents to the other side of the fraction before I do anything. So literally I'm moving the x down, I'm moving the a and the b to the top. So I'm going to say a squared b to the 6th on top. The y to the 4th doesn't do anything, stays where it's at, and the x negative 3 goes to the bottom, and that's your answer because there's nothing to combine. Okay, this next one, 12 over 3 is 4 over 1, or I'll just write 4 over 1. Alright, so this goes to the bottom of the fraction. So we're going to treat negative exponents. Again, this is another way to kind of look at it. I'm going to treat negative exponents as a spy. So what happens before a battle? You always send the spies home. Okay, so think about that. You send the spies home. So if this is a spy and it's got -1 armies and it goes to the bottom, do you guys agree this is already a 1 here? So if it goes to the bottom, what does the bottom become? 2, because you add 1 to it. And then let's do a battle with the y's. That's just a 1. So who wins? The bottom by 3. And so that's your answer. Okay, that's a little complicated, but again, spies, negative exponents go home. I don't see any more in the next two lines here. But anything with a negative exponent goes to the other side of the fraction. All right, let's do a battle. Who's going to win with the x's? The bottom by 2. Who's going to win with the y's? The top by 10. That's your answer. Okay, so next one. The numbers are normal, they like to cancel out. So 3 over 6 is 1/2. And let's do a battle. So I'm just going to put the 2 there. Who wins with the x's? Remember, that's a 1 here. And so the top wins by 2. For the x's, the y's, it wins by 5, because 8 minus 3 is 5. And the bottom wins by 10. So it's z to the 10th. And that's your answer. Okay? Not too bad. Let's keep going here. Okay, so basically you have 15 over 18. You guys should know how to reduce fractions. Okay, a 3 goes into 15 5 times, and a 3 goes into 18 6 times. Alright, so I know I have 5 and a 6 here. And then the a goes home. It's a spy. So it goes home, so it goes to the north, and I have a to the 10th. Okay, and I have a battle between the b's, and the bottom one wins by 1. So that's your answer. 5a to the 10th over 6b. Okay. The next one, again, let's cancel a couple things out. This is multiplication. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to combine the tops together, and I'm going to combine the bottoms together before I do actually any calculation. So I don't need to, I can actually simplify this. This is a 1 and a 2. Do you guys agree with that? And then the 3's just cancel, 1 and 1. So now I'm going to put everything together. So do you guys agree x to the 4th times x to the 1st is x to the 5th? And y to the 14th times y squared is y to the 16th. So that's on top. The bottom has this 2 right here. And x to the 6th, these are all to the 1 power. So x to the 6th times x to the 1st is x to the 7th. Y to the 8th times y to the 1st is y to the 9th. And now I do battle. Alright, so it's got a couple steps to this one. Well, the 2 stays where it's at. Who wins with the x's? The bottom by 2. Who wins with the y's? Well, 16 minus 9 is 7. So it's y to the 7th. And that's your answer. Okay? Alright, let's keep going here. This is a 10 and a 5, so this is a 2 and a 1. And this is a 6 and a 1. Okay, so let's put everything together. We got 12 x squared y to the 7th over, let's just keep it in order, x to the 12th, y to the 4th. Okay, so 12's on top. Who wins with the x's? The bottom by 10. Who wins with the y's? The top by 3. There you go. That's your answer. Okay, so let's do number 20. That's a 1 and a 2. So I want to getting 2 times 2 is 4. X to the 4th, y to the 3rd. And the bottom gives me x to the 7th times x to the 2nd is x to the 9th. Okay, now I do battle. 4, who wins with the x's? The bottom by 5. And the y, there's no battle at all, so it's y cubed, and that's your answer. Okay. 21, everything gets raised to the 5th power, so it's x cubed to the 5th power, 2 to the 5th power. So 3 times 5 is 15, x to the 15th, over 2 to the 5th power, which is 32. That's your answer. Okay, negative exponents, it's going to be, now I'm going to show you a little trick. It's x to the 3rd, well, let me show you the way I showed it to you before, to the negative 5th power and 2 to the negative 5th power. Okay, so do you guys agree that's going to be x to the negative 15th, and this is 2 to the negative 5th. So I'm going to move those to the other side of the fraction, so the x to the 15th goes to the bottom, and the 2 to the 5th goes to the top, and they're both positive. And 2 to the 5th power is 32 over x to the 15th, and that's your answer. Now, kind of an easier way to do this as opposed to having a bunch of negative exponents, if you have a negative on the outside of that, you can flip the whole thing over and make that to the positive 5. Okay? And then 2 to the 5th, and then x to the 15th. So that's almost a little bit easier. Okay? Alright, so this next one, Nothing to cancel out inside there, so it's basically 2 to the third power, a to the fourth power cubed over 3 cubed, and parenthesis around that too, and b cubed cubed. So 2 cubed is 8, a to the 12th over 27, that's 3 cubed, b to the 9th. And that's your answer. There's no battle here. Okay, and what's the last one? Oh, there it is, to the 1 power, or to the 0 power, so that means the answer is 1. Alright, so that's it, math fans, for the notes. A lot of practice problems for homework, but you got to practice this in order to be successful with these kind of problems, right? That's it, math fans. Have an outstanding day. Adios. Goodbye.